And now, it's Coast View with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast View. The Coast celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such a wonderful place to live, work, and play. And celebrating Mississippi, for that matter, this show today is a lot about Mississippi, and you'll understand more about that in just a second. I often quote John Muir, the naturalist, the conservationist, the writer. The one you hear me talk about the most, the one you hear me quote the most is this one. And into the forest I go to lose my mind and find my soul. Man, does Mississippi have some outdoors to lose our soul in. Our incredible outdoors make this state among the most enjoyable and breathtaking on earth. That is really true, and you'll hear more about why we believe that here shortly. I've said this many times before, but there really is something exhilarating about immersing yourselves in the outdoors. You can literally feel your blood pressure drop. You can feel your mind become more creative. You feel closer to your family and your friends, and you feel closer to God. You can take a deep breath of coastal Mississippi salt air, for example, and really understand it. You know exactly what I mean, those of you who are here in coastal Mississippi. Or you can breathe the crisp mountain air of the Woodall Mountains up in northeast Mississippi, or take a slow, deep breath at any point in between. And you'll experience what John Muir also described this way. Nature's peace will flow into you like sunshine flows into trees. Enjoying the outdoors is a big part of the Mississippi heritage, and that's one of the reasons I talk about it so often here on Coast View. I think it's important. It's part of our DNA. Whether you like hunting or fishing or simply just kind of soaking up the other outdoor activities that are too many to list here, you get an understanding of why that's at the core of this great state. It's one of the things that transcends the political, the beliefs that we have here these days. Instead of tearing us apart, which is too often the case these days, outdoor recreation brings us together. It best defines us. William Shakespeare said this: "The earth has music for those who listen." That is so true. We are blessed in Mississippi to have such a strong appreciation for our tradition of enjoying the outdoors. I like to paraphrase Shakespeare to say this: "The outdoors in Mississippi has music for those who listen." My guest today once said this: "The outdoor industry gives me a living, but it's deeper than that. I'm going to be in the woods by myself and pray and think about my relationship with God and family. Thank God for his grace and love and forgiveness. I get that at church, but this is an extension of that. It is so deep-seated. I don't have to pull the trigger, release the arrow, or catch a fish. It's the experience." He knows better than most that the outdoors of Mississippi has music for those who listen, because he has made his name Primos, an international brand for hunters, by making game calls and other outdoor products. In fact, the brand promise for Primos Hunting is speak the language. I'm thrilled today to have one of Mississippi's most important outdoors ambassadors, the star of the first true reality TV show, Primos Truth About Hunting, and the founder of Primos Outdoors, Will Primos. Good morning, Will. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Yeah, you make emotions swell up in me.
Well,
but, I think I know where you got that quote from, but you don't remember everything that you say all the time, but how true all those things are for me.
When you hear that quote from Muir, that into the forest we go to lose our minds and find our soul, you know that better than most, don't you?
I do, and it's amazing that here I am on Coast View, because all of this really started on the coast in the admirable Mississippi, specifically Langley Point. It was an oyster shell road that once you went so far down what was then, I assume it still is today, Racetrack Road, it became the Langley Point Road. And there wasn't but two houses on that. There's more now. Of course, Katrina took a lot of them and have not been rebuilt. I guess the first time I was there was probably 1957, 5 years old. I grew up as summers there. My family was in the restaurant business, and my mama and daddy and my mama's parents bought this home on the tip of Langley Point. And it was a ranch style house, was not on stilts like they are now. And I grew up catching green snakes and frogs and fishing. And I'm a master at catching hard-headed catfish and croakers and sheephead and drum. And my specialty was gaff top catfish. I had a little boat later on when I got older, and I'd row out into the channel where the shrimp boats came out of Back Bay and went under the bridge would open. Of course, that bridge has changed now. There was Back Bay Bridge. There was an old hardware store, and I'm trying to remember the name of that hardware store. As you went south, it was on your left before you crossed the bridge, and that store had turkey calls in it. And I was a little kid. I ain't been turkey hunting yet. I'm looking at all this. I mean, so all of this is unbelievably connected because it all really started on Langley Point in D'Iberville, Mississippi. Unbelievable.
It was. I didn't know that history. I've known you for a long time. I've known of you for even longer. Your video series were extremely popular. Now your TV show, your brand. For anyone who loves the outdoors, they know the Will Primos brand. But it is so interesting to learn that this coast connection and your love of the outdoors began to grow during that time. Your dad, I think he went to Tulane, right? And he was in World War II.
For a while, he graduated from Ole Miss. Yeah, he was at Tulane for a while. Yeah, his daddy came over on the boat, landed in New Orleans, and that's where he came in with his mother. He was 8 years old. It was 1908, and she fled a war in Turkey and Greece. Her husband was killed, my granddaddy's daddy. And so they came over with 5 siblings and her and tried to make a living. They knew nobody or nothing. And they learned the restaurant business, really. Learned how to bus tables, wait tables, wash dishes, steal French bread from this side of town and deliver it to that side of town. The stories my granddaddy would tell me. He died in 1979, but he was quite a gentleman.
I had Fofo Gilic, the mayor of Biloxi, on last week, and we talked about the impact the Croatian community has had on the point of Biloxi. But Anne's grandmother, my wife's grandmother, came here in 1908 from Croatia. So there's this great infusion of people that came to coastal Mississippi, really from all over the world, and had so many impacts. And it's so interesting to see that your family had this connection as well. But boy, when you think about Back Bay and fishing in Back Bay, it brings back great memories for you, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, it's changed so much. In 1969, Camille, although it was not that big a storm, it was a very focused storm, and it wiped the house out. There was nothing left when we got down there. I was 15 years old, and we got down there. It was like you had cleaned off in the point. There was nothing. There was nothing except a stack of dishes from the kitchen cabinet, still stacked right where they would have been. And we still have those dishes today.
Wow,
that's them all.
that's so interesting. That's so interesting. Coming back to the role that the outdoors plays in Mississippi, a couple of numbers I like to look at. First of all, farming in the state, number one industry in Mississippi, $7.45 billion. Outdoor recreation spending, $8 billion. But see, I don't have to tell you that. You've made a living understanding the role that outdoor recreation spending plays. But boy, outdoors, I cannot overstate how important that industry is, not only to our state of mind, but to our economy. It's extremely important, isn't it?
Yeah, and it crosses every segment of the population, from a blue-collar worker, somebody who's trying to put food on the table, to a lawyer, to a CEO of a bank. It's a great, incredible escape. One day, I was so stressed out. Running the company and building the company was a real job. And a lot of people thought I had this dream job, but I did most everything every day that I didn't want to do to have a little bit of time to do what I wanted to do. And I think that's typical of most people in life, in their work history. Because there's a lot of things that I didn't want to have to do. I didn't want to have to fire people. I didn't want to have to motivate people. I didn't want to have to take that back. I didn't want to have to try to motivate. You can't motivate anybody. They have to motivate themselves. But at any rate, if you look at all of those things, I told Brad Ferris, he said, we're going turkey hunting tomorrow morning. I said, Brad, I ain't, my mind's on it. I can't do it. He says, yes, you are. You're going. So we went, turkey gobbled. I sat down, and it took about an hour, and that turkey came. I shot that turkey, and I turned and looked at Brad, and I went, that's the most cleansing thing that could have ever happened to me. And he said, what do you mean? I said, there was nothing on my mind but being able to get that turkey in that spot.
So when John Muir says, and into the forest we go to lose our mind and find our soul, you know that really well. Hey, listen, we're coming to the end of the segment. When we come back, we're going to talk about how your family influenced how you came to enjoy and become sort of obsessed with the outdoor very young in age. And then what that did is lead you to getting into game calls, starting a game call business in 1976, and then that emerged into Primos Outdoors. The TV show, or at least in the early days, the TV video series or the video series evolved, and it became a TV show. And then this Primos brand sort of emerged as this international brand, and you became sort of the ambassador for Mississippi Outdoors. We're going to talk about all those things. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Will Primos.
Look forward to it.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We're having a conversation with Will Primos. If you love fishing and hunting or the outdoors, especially hunting, you probably know the Primos brand extremely well. And to learn that Will Primos has this sort of coastal connection. But like so many of us in the outdoors, we all find our connection in one way or the other. Most usually it's through a family member. So your cousin Jimmy and you went hunting once, and y'all shot a blackbird, and along the way you had your uncles played a huge role in your love of the outdoors. Let's talk about how you got connected so significantly to the outdoors through your family.
I don't know why I was so drawn to it. We lived on 52 acres, that little pond, so we could do some small game hunting and that we could go fishing. But Jimmy was 5 years older than me. He is 5 years older than me. And he was my hero. I mean, think about it. I'm 5 years old. Jimmy's 10. That's a huge difference when you're that young. And Jimmy gave me a Crossman pellet gun. You actually screwed a cylinder of gas onto the end, a big cylinder of gas, and filled this tube on the gun, under the gun with this gas. And then that's what propelled the pellet. So Jimmy was done with, he got a better one, so he gave me that one. And he took me on my first hunt, which was for a blackbird. And I killed a big old crackle blackbird. And Jimmy said, now you're going to eat it. So he made me pluck it. We put it on a stick, built a fire, roasted it, and I ate it. It was great. I remember that to this day. Jimmy thought he was being funny because he was kind of poking at me. But, my daddy worked a lot. Daddy, I have my father's 16 gauge Model D Fox. And I wish I had it here to show you. I love this gun. I took it to South Dakota 2 years ago and killed some sharp-tailed grouse with it. Unbelievable. I had the gun refitted just for me. But Daddy hunted, but Daddy was working all the time. And he wasn't into duck hunting or deer hunting, but yet my uncles were. Uncle Billy was the youngest, and Gus and Alec. And so Daddy, they all were in the restaurant business together. And so if one of them wanted to get off to do something, all they had to do was say, we'll take Will hunting. So if they take me hunting, Daddy'd let them. Daddy'd cover for them. So, I grew up with them. I went on my first duck hunt with Jimmy and Alec and at Blitzdale, which is now a federal place right there around Thornton, Mississippi, in the Delta, not far from Chula. And I went deer hunting. Billy took me on my first deer hunt. I killed my first whitetail at 11 years old. All those are wonderful memories. But as time went on, and I went more and more, I began to see a relationship between where game was rich, songbirds were everywhere. I began to notice that the land was in better shape. It was better cared for. It was better taken care of. There was something going on. So that's when I really started becoming interested in conservation, interested in what made our lives richer through the outdoors.
You learn, as William Shakespeare said, that the earth has music for those who listen. And you heard a lot of music, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And I've seen a lot of horror stories where it hadn't been done right, too.
I know you have. So let's talk about, so when did it occur to you that the game call, your obsession with getting it right? Because over the years, your competitive advantage has been that you understand this nuance between the call and the animal that you're trying to call, and you sort of mastered that. So how did you get to that point?
Well, I think you have to back up and realize that I was raised in a family of restaurateurs. We had a very strong work ethic. Everybody worked, and you worked hard, and you worked long. So that was instilled into me no matter what I did. So I really think I started making game calls for my friend Buck Dearman. Buck's gone to his reward. He'd be in his 90s now if he was still living. Wonderful guy. He encouraged me. He said, Will, I got this mouth call. They'd only last me a couple of days. I think you can build me a mouth call. And I went, do what? That's what started it in the early 70s. And so I started shaping and doing and learning and doing. And for long, I had perfected this call, and Buck Dearman loved it. And then all his friends wanted him. One thing led to another. And so finally, I had a dealer, Hutton Whitaker here in Jackson, selling some of my calls. And one thing led to another. And a guy came down here from Pennsylvania, used one of my calls, went back to Pennsylvania, told a store up there. They called me. They were selling my calls. And then I went to a show. I was in the restaurant business. I got off and went to a show, and I had made about 1,000 calls. I sold them all. I left that show with close to $10,000. And I was going, holy moly, I might be able to get out of the restaurant business if I keep this up. So that was one of the motivations, because I wanted to spend more time in the woods. So, I am so blessed from the very, very beginning of life to have had my mother and my father as my parents. Daddy's 96, Mama's 94. We just spent Father's Day with them, and Mother's Day just not too long ago. Incredible people to have devoted their lives to giving me opportunity. And how many times did my daddy say, Will, you can do anything you want to do. Set your mind to it. And I was held to a higher standard by all my family. And, after a while, 1988, started the company in 76, but in 88, I said, okay, I'm going for it. And I sold my stock in the restaurants back to the family and set out and never looked back. And I had, the only thing that made that possible was my wife, because it wouldn't have been for Mary and supporting me and encouraging me. Encouragement is it's not used enough, because in life, all of us need encouragers. And she encouraged me, and we set about to go do it, and we did it. It was a long, hard, but I'm going to tell you this too. People like Jimmy Primos, who came to work for me, my cousin, 5 years older than me. Lorena Light, my assistant for 30 years. And I could go on and on and on and name the guys who ran the TV and video department. They are incredible. Brad Ferris, Troy Ruiz, Lake Pickle, Jordan Blissett. The list goes on and on. Guys from the past, Ron Jolly, Kevin Meacham, Chuck Jones. There's so many of them that took that banner because they believed in what we were trying to do. And, there's a book written by Tom Kelly of Spanish Fort, Alabama, called The 10th Legion. If anybody has not read that book and they're even thinking about being a turkey hunter or are a turkey hunter, they need to read the book. It's named the 10th Legion because the 10th Legion of the Roman Empire was the greatest legion that ever was. And when all those original members are dead and gone, the 10th Legion stayed great because the new members were lived to a higher standard. They wanted to uphold what the 10th Legion stood for. That's what happened at Primos. Everybody that came there wanted to hold it to a higher standard.
It is amazing, though, really. If you think about the TV show, people can learn more if they don't know about it. They can go do just a search on the internet that says Primos Truth About Hunting, and you'll get it, and you'll get a sense of how widely distributed, how important it is to hunters. But it's interesting about the show. If you study the men who have come along the way, so many of them have gone on to do amazing things in the TV industry, in the hunting industry. Yes. You've been a mentor to so many. You mentioned Jordan Blissett and Lake Pickle. Blake was actually on my show last week. He did a great job. Fine young man. But you have just mentored so many over the years. It's amazing to you, I bet, to look at them now and see where they are and see the contribution that they're making.
Yeah, to be able to do something that you're passionate about, that you want to do, that you put your heart into, and to give back along the way to all these people you meet, to give them an opportunity to help them. I remember when Lake came to work for us, he came and applied, and he wasn't through with school yet. And we said, me and Brad and some others too, Lake, if you're not going to finish school, we're not going to hire you. We made him finish college. That was a requirement because that's important. It's not important now for him, but it's going to be so important as life goes on for him.
It really is. I think about names like Cuz Strickland and your long relationship with Toxie and Mossy Oaks, and that Mossy Oak, another Mississippi brand that has had sort of international impact. But man, you look back on your relationship with something like Mossy Oak, and it helped kind of position you where you are today, didn't it?
Oh yeah. So Bill Sugg, who happens to be Toxie, wasn't then, but he is Toxie's brother-in-law. He is the main day-to-day man behind Mossy Oak with Toxie. And Bill came to see me in 1986, I think it was, and held these pieces of camouflage up. I walked out in my backyard, put it on a pine tree, a water oak tree, and a cherry tree. And I looked at Bill and said, I'm in. This stuff is unbelievable. That was bottom land. I still wear it today. And that was how long ago? 40 years ago? I don't know. It was a long time ago. Yeah.
It's an incredible story. I mean, if you think about the impact that Mississippi entrepreneurs have had on the hunting community, I keep saying around the world, but it literally is, the impact is literally around the world. It's really amazing. I mean, it just helps you more appreciate the extension of the outdoors in Mississippi, how it impacted people, how they entrepreneurially created products and things that really touched a lot of people. Hey, when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation with Will Primos. I actually want him to, for those of you who don't really understand hunting, we're not going to try to explain it to you now, but we will let you hear a couple of the game calls that he's developed along the way. And for people who do love hunting, it's going to bring back a lot of memories to hear Will do a couple of his calls. And then we're going to shift to gears and talk about the evolution of the TV show. We'll be back after this.
Coast View on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices. SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Whether you're brand new to the DIY craze or a seasoned veteran, the Handyman Show has something for you. Buddy Slowick shares tips and tricks on everything from odd jobs to complete build-outs, from small home repairs to serious construction. So no matter if you're at the master carpenter level or not quite sure how to use a level, the Handyman Show answers your questions with a healthy dose of humor and some great music too. Saturdays, 10 to noon on SuperTalk Mississippi and on SuperTalk TV. What decisions are being made by state lawmakers, and how will they affect you, your family, and community? If you listen, you'll know. SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk app, and at supertalk.fm.
Hi, I'm Billy Kinder, host of Big Billy Kinder Outdoors here. The show Saturdays at 1, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Turkeys, whitetail, Grenada Lake crappie, or Gulfport redfish. We enjoy it all, especially when you're in camp with us on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and, wow. All this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
in a Mississippi Minute.
Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive, fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show
on Super Talk Mississippi.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on Super Talk Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast View with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on Super Talk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast View. We're having a conversation with Will Primos from Primos Hunting and the Primos Truth About Hunting TV series. Hey, before we go to the game calls, I want to come back for a second. Cuz Strickland, a lot of people know the name Cuz Strickland, especially in the hunting industry because of the shows that Mossy Oaks have done over the years, but they may not know or may not remember that Cuz Strickland actually started in the TV business with you. So you guys have this incredible relationship, don't you?
Yeah, Cuz is very, very special guy. He can make you laugh. He is a people guy. He gets it. He gets it all about what makes all this world work in relationships. And I was searching for a way. I didn't have any money. So I was searching for a way to promote Primos. So at that time, audio cassettes is what we listened to music with and what you could go and make one on how to do something if you wanted to. So I went and hired a guy, went to the woods and recorded a turkey hunt. And then I put together instructions and made this cassette tape. It was called, I think, Wild Turkey Hunting with Will Primos and the Southern Boys. What a stupid name. But anyway, that was it. And Cuz was working at a sporting goods store called Rex in Natchez. And he got one of these tapes and he heard it. And he ended up calling me and saying, man, I've been recording hunts and doing a few of, he had these very little primitive video cameras. And so he wanted to show me what he had. And video cameras were not mainstream at the time. But anyway, that's how Cuz and I got to know each other. And then I invited him to come up here to Jackson, Mississippi area and sat down in my house. And I said, Cuz, we need to produce a video and I want to hire you. And that's the start of it. And then when we got through it that year, I said, I'm going to hunt whenever I can, but don't worry about me. You take anybody that'll go. And he ended up recording 12 incredible hunts. He had a backpack with a reel-to-reel system on it, wires going to a big camera, very primitive stuff. And we got through it, and Cuz says, what are we going to call this thing? And I said, I don't know, Cuz. Cuz says, well, I can tell you one thing. It's the truth. I said, that's it. We're going to call it the truth. After the truth, we did the next one. And then Cuz says, what are we going to call this one? I said, how about the truth too? Oh, no, we can't. We got to call it something different. I said, nope. I trumped that. And the truth became famous. We were just lucky. And there's a book called The Outliers that everybody ought to read. It is about those that have opportunities in life. Malcolm Gladwell wrote it, famous author from New York. It's about when you're born, the opportunity that you have because of the month, because of the decade, because of the year. Gates couldn't have done what he did, Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, all the people in life had opportunities because of when they were born. Look at your opportunities because of when you were born.
And you put your 10,000 hours in, didn't you, Will?
Yes, sir. You read the book. Yeah. So I've put more than 10,000. I put 10,000 in every one of the categories: deer, turkey, waterfowl, predator, you name it.
Well, you guys ended up developing this series, this video series that came out annually for many, many years. You were really focused on making sure you weren't faking it. It was the hunt. That's one of the things that made the truth about hunting so important. Hey, when did you realize? I'm just curious about the first time you were traveling outside of Mississippi and you were in an airport and someone recognized you. When did you realize, holy mackerel, this is a big deal?
A guy walked up to me in an airport and he said, "Are you Will Primos?" And I said, "Yes, sir. I'm Will. How you doing?" He goes, "Man, can I have your autograph?" And I said, "You don't want my autograph. Why would he want my autograph?" And he was he thought that I didn't want to give it to him. You could tell I just deflated him. And I went, "Oh, no, I'll give it to you. I just don't know why you won't."
Yeah, go ahead.
In the world of hunting, if you go to a hunting show, people line up. They want to meet you. They've seen you all these years. But when you go through the airport, sometimes nobody, sometimes 5. So hunting is a very small industry.
You never know, do you, man? You never know. Just, the people you touch. It is a small industry, but it's one where those who are engaged in it are so darn passionate about it. So during the off season, we all want to watch Primos Truth About Hunting because we want to be reminded about what we're going to get when we get to the summertime and start getting ready to plant our food plots and all that. You're sort of the link between the reality of the unfortunate downtime that we have between hunting seasons and getting to hunting season. It's a great reminder for people. They escape because of you. Hey, do me a favor, grab your turkey call. This reed that you developed, it's not just any mouth call. It's a very specific
mouth call. What you want?
Let's do a mouth call to start out with. So, because isn't that that's the first thing you did?
Yeah.
The mouth call, right?
They've changed a lot. This is actually one of the first ones that I ever made. This is a true double. It's got 2 reeds that are separated in it. And
wow.
This is more like the ones that are sold today. This is just a single frame. We still sell this. It's all about lips and jaw. You got to use the rhythm anyway.
So grab your box call real quick, and then give us a little.
I'll make some of the same sounds.
Wow, that's incredible, really incredible. Okay, we don't. I wish could spend a whole show on the calls. Grab your elk call, and give us
you want a bull
bugle.
Or you want a cow?
Give us a bull.
All right.
Well, pretty much. He's...
That's a bull.
That's great. Well, look,
here's a cow.
Go ahead.
That's a cow elk.
Well, look, we could do a whole show on the technology, the testing, the competitive advantage that Will Primos created with his calls, which is why he's been so darn successful over all these years. But what's interesting to me, Will, is that in spite of the fact that this is your business, this is your livelihood, this is how you made your living, you never ever lost the importance of your personal connection to the outdoors. At the end of the day, that's the thing that saved you, isn't it?
I think it is, but I think even more focused than that, in any business, what is so important, especially when you're passionate about what you're doing, you've got to remember it's not about you. It's about your customer and serving him and helping him enjoy what you are trying to create something to do. So those go hand in hand, but you've got to keep in mind it's not about you.
It's not about you. So let's the evolution of the TV show so people can understand the video series. Tell us how successful that became.
Big time hunger.
Well, it became so successful that, and once again, go back to the book on the outliers, the opportunity that was available was creating VHS tapes, being able to record something, edit it, and put it together. And so Walmart became our biggest distributor, and they would start stocking them in June. And we would sell literally millions of videos to Walmart. And everybody was getting ready for elk. Elk was the big primer because elk came first, and then came whitetail. Then you had the predator and the waterfowl and all the other things. And then turkey came around in the spring. So it was a constant feed. And then we went to DVDs, and the VHS went away. And then, oh my gosh, that revenue stream dried up because of the internet that we're on now, that we're able to communicate like this and to be interviewed and have a talk radio show like this. I mean, all this is possible, but it drove away the need for the DVD. And so now it's all about streaming, and everybody wants it free.
Everybody wants it free, but you still maintain your presence on the Outdoor Channel, and that's been a really big communicator for you in terms of your TV show. That's been a long association, hasn't it?
It has since 1999, I think. We continue to have the most fantastic guys: Troy Ruiz, Lake Pickle, and Jordan Blissett. They're the guys behind the camera more times than not. And then you've got Brad Ferris and Jimmy and me, and we're the primary ones on the TV show. But going elk hunting, going deer hunting, waterfowl, turkey, those guys are hunters first. They get behind the camera and they hunt with the camera. A lot of times they're the reason we're successful. Not because of me or Jimmy or Brad. It was because one of them knew what to do or and saw it before anybody else did.
Well, yeah, Lake and I had a great conversation about how the authenticity is so important. You know, authenticity, people pick up on authenticity, and they immediately realize when it's not there as well. That's always been really important to you. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the truth about hunting. And then we're going to talk about a conservation trust fund that Mississippi has an opportunity to develop. We didn't get it done this year. Hopefully we can get it done in the next legislative session. We'll mention that before we get out the air. But when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Will Primos.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi. Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We have Will Primos from Primos Hunting and from the TV show Primos Speak the Language. Hey, before we kind of close the chapter on the TV show, Will, grab one of your duck calls and give us a mallard real quick.
This is a winch.
That's a good one. That's a
happy
good
hen.
one.
You know, when you talk about waterfowl, this is a specklebelly, and you've got to have so much understanding and different techniques to be able to blow these calls. And then you switch over to a Canada goose, and it's a total different technique. So learning how to do this, you're speaking the language. You've got to learn how to create these sounds that these animals do with an instrument, not unlike using symphony orchestra instruments.
Well, no doubt, and there's a skill involved. The earth has music for those who listen, as Shakespeare said. So the TV show continues to provide opportunities for people to enjoy the outdoors. You guys have such a laid-back style, but authenticity is really important. You said a long time ago, what's happened in the TV production world is that a lot of staged hunts and strange angles and some things that may not necessarily be true. You said you're not going to take that route. The truth actually became sort of this brand promise from Primos. Tell why that was so important to you.
Well, but because God's in control, because I'm a believer and I love him and I do not want to disappoint him. And when I do, I pay the price. So I can remember an elk hunt we were on. It was a 5-day elk hunt, and we've been 3 days and we hadn't done any good yet. We were not getting the footage we need. We're not calling up any elk. It's just not happening. And the guys were just all bummed out. And they said, we ain't going to get this done. It's not going to happen. And I'm going, hey, I don't know what's going on, but God's given you exactly what he wants you to have. Embrace it, take a deep breath, and enjoy your time in the mountains. Oh my gosh. The next day, we called it the worm turned. All we had to do was make a call and the elk were running us over. So you gotta have faith. And it's not easy. Faith is not easy. God just wants us to have faith. He wants us to have trust, and he'll show us the grace.
Well, you and I, we haven't talked about this, and we don't have the time to get into the whole evolution, but you spent a lot of time hunting in the Mississippi Delta. You owned and have leased some of the most amazing ground in the state of Mississippi. So I talk about on this show all the time the role that the Delta plays in our enjoyment of the outdoors. The name of my hunting club is called, it's a little family hunting club, it's called Delta Bluffs. Part of it's in the Delta, part of it's in the Bluffs. And now you guys have Kudzu Bluff, which is not far actually from the ground that I have over in Shula. And you're making the transition to the Bluffs from the Delta. The hunting there is going to be great. It's going to take you a few years to figure it out. But one of the things that Lake talked about was that, it was a good year, but it was also frustrating as you guys learned a new ground. But if that's the story that's going to get conveyed on the next series, isn't it?
That's exactly right. You got to let the story tell itself.
Yeah, and what I love about it,
you can't force it. You cannot force it.
What I like about it though is that actually is the story that most people experience. If you're going to public land and you're trying to figure it out, or maybe you leased a new piece of land. The reality is you just don't go in there and start, seeing deer and, seeing big mature deer. It takes you a while. You got to learn the land. You got to figure out what's the best way to lay this thing out. It may take 2 or 3 years to really understand it. And it will be great watching your journey at Kudzu Bluff on the show over the next 2 or 3 years. Hey, listen, Will, before we get too far away from it, I just want to mention it was a pleasure to work with you recently as we were focus on that conservation trust fund that Mississippi has an opportunity to develop. And, there's a lot of conversation been going on behind the scenes. I'm hopeful that next year we'll be able to pull it off. What it will essentially do for people who have not paid attention to it is in year 3, it would create about $15 million a year that gives Mississippi the opportunity to go get a significant amount of federal matching funds in order to improve outdoor recreation in Mississippi. Essentially, states like Georgia, for example, they took $20 million and made it almost $100 million. So it's a really good investment. There's a lot of reasons why this would be a good thing. It didn't happen this past year. We had some opposition from the lieutenant governor, but I'm hoping that we can shift gears, convince the lieutenant governor that this is a good thing for conservationists in Mississippi. And it's time for Mississippi to sort of carve out its opportunity here to get these federal matching funds. This is something you really believe strongly about, isn't it, Will?
I really do. And most of the land in Mississippi is owned by private individuals. And if you're not going to involve private individuals in conservation, you're not going to win the war to provide conservation and put it on the ground. You've got to embrace it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. That's one of the things that Lieutenant Governor took out of the bill. He didn't want any private lands involved. And if you think about the farming community, just the role they play in conservation alone is very significant.
Everything flows downstream. Remember that. So if a farmer up here is not doing the right thing, you might pay the price down here.
There's no doubt about it. Anyway, I'm hopeful we can convince the lieutenant governor to make some concessions and enable us to get a bill that passed the House 117-2, I might add, to become law here in the state and move things forward in a way that's going to really help the recreational opportunities in Mississippi. Hey, Will, final words. We have less than a minute left. Just want to give you the chance to say one final word.
Well, I thank you so much for having me here. You know, in life, you get lots of opportunities to make decisions. Sometimes you might get close to compromising what you really believe in because it looks easy. I want to say one thing, and I've got it right here. Discipline is simply turning down what I want now so I can have what I want most.
Yeah, that's so true.
There it is. Right there. Stays front and center on my computer.
It's been a pleasure to have you on Coast View, and we'll be talking again soon. I look forward to staying in touch, and thank you for all your contributions. And when I refer to you as Mississippi's most important outdoor ambassador, I mean it, and I think most people will sign up for that for sure. Thanks for all your contributions. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm going to say one quick thing. Delbert Hoseman's a good man. He needs education. He needs to understand what this Conservation Trust Fund is all about and what it will do for Mississippi as a whole, for not only the economic side of it, but for all Mississippians to get outside and enjoy the outdoors. Delbert, I hope you have this opportunity to visit with him.
Me too. Maybe we can visit with him together. We'll see how. Maybe that one. Okay, listen. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.